All right, y'all. So, welcome back to the kitchen. Today, we are going to talk about my baby. I think all of our products are my baby, but this is something I'm really, really proud of. Our seasoning. We're going to talk about Spice of Life, right? So, Spice of Life is an anti-inflammatory seasoning. It is salt-free. It is a herbal blend, right? We got some really good stuff in here. I'm gonna have to read it because y'all know how I gotta do. I gotta read stuff. So we have oregano, smoked paprika, Mediterranean thyme, cracked rosemary, garlic, cumin, fennel, ground black pepper, ginger powder, and turmeric powder. Really good. This seasoning is amazing. So, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna cook a good old southern staple, fish and eggs. We're not gonna deep fry it. We're just gonna pan sear the fish and we're gonna do some scrambled eggs using our seasoning. Now remember, this is salt free. So we're gonna talk about how to salt things in a second. But first, we got some good old whitefish here, right? Local wild caught whitefish. And what I like to do is I like to salt last. And the reason for that is because you want to control the amount of salt that you use. Now, the purpose of this seasoning is for it to be salt free. So if you don't want to use any kind of salt because you're watching your salt intake or whatever the case may be, don't use the salt. But if you're like, I actually kind of want a little salt, then the reason why we made it like this so that you can add your salt at your own leisure. So what we're going to do, it's loose. Brian, you getting that? It's great. It smells fantastic. These are some really good sourced herbs. There is no holes or anything like that. This is just fresh herbs and seasoning. And what we're going to do is we're going to gently, actually, sorry about that. I'm going to put a little oil on this so that it can stick. So we're just going to put just a little oil. Come on out on the fish. Right? And then while I'm doing this, I'm going to turn the eye on. I'm going to make sure that this is perfect. Right? So we got a little oil on the fish so that the seasoning can stick. So rub that on. Right? And then we're going to take our seasoning. Make sure you shake this before you use it so that anything that's settled can have a chance to move around. Be liberal. Get in there. Okay? That's about good enough. I want to use a little bit more. Okay? And we're just going to pat and rub that baby in there. Now, this is the part where you could add salt, or let me kind of put y'all on game. Typically in restaurants, they salt after the food is cooked. It's called finishing salt, right? So we don't have finishing salt here. We just have regular good old sea salt. But if you wanted to really watch your salt intake, cook this as is and then add your salt. But since we don't have finishing salt, and this is just make it a little salty if you do it afterward, I'm going to actually put this in my hand. Yes, my hands are dirty, or I should say season filled, but I don't want to just put this on straight. I'm going to take my hand and just sprinkle. Putting salt directly on your food from the bottle is the quickest way to oversalt your meals, but putting it in your hand and just kind of doing a little sprinkle test. What Rachel Way used to do like that for good measure. That's all you need. All right, so we're gonna pat that in, and then we're gonna put this oil into the skillet. All right, so what I used on the fish is the same oil that I'm going to use in the skillet. This is avocado oil. This is honestly the only oil that I'll use, or I'll use a frying olive oil. So this is the drizzle, so we won't use this into the pan. This is what you finish your food with, but I sometimes will use the sizzle olive oil, but for the most part, we're doing avocado oil. Avocado oil benefits, first of all, it has a high smoke point. So what that means is that when you put the oil into a skillet that's hot, like this one right here, it won't turn this oil rancid. And some oils you can't have it sit in the skillet for too long with heat because it will actually break that oil down. So you don't want that. So I'm just gonna put just a little bit in here. And avocado oil is a better oil than your peanut oil, than your um, canola oil, then your all those other kind of oils are trash. So if you're gonna use oil, to be honest with you, avocado oil that's really good, or like I said, a high quality olive oil is going to be the way to go. So this skillet is nice and hot. I might turn this down just a bit. Whitefish does not take long to cook. Okay, so this is gonna be done really quick. So we're gonna take that, sop all that goodness up, paste that right in the skillet. Get all that goodness up right in the skillet. And we're gonna let this brown and get a nice color like myself. We're gonna let this do it for about 2 to 3 minutes. Expanding our holistic wellness line, we're excited to introduce the Spice of Life, a salt-free, anti-inflammatory herbal spice blend. This culinary marvel features a symphony of flavors, including oregano, smoked paprika, thyme, rosemary, garlic, cumin, fennel, and black pepper. Designed for versatility, it's perfect for enhancing both your cooked meals and raw dishes with its health-boosting properties. Discover these transformative wellness solutions on our website. Visit brownwomanwellness.com to explore serenity and spice of life and embrace a life of enriched health and flavor. So, let's flip this bad boy. And yes, this is big. Right? It's huge. So we're gonna go ahead and flip away. Whoop. Whoop. Come on. This thing is slick. There we go. And the thing is, right, guys, look at that color. That's from the turmeric. Turmeric is always going to take everything up to a yellow kind of color. Don't worry about that. Once this is flipped, I always squeeze some lemon. I like lemon on my fish. It makes the balance of the savory herbs with just a little bit of the acidicness. And then we baste. Don't worry about that lemon seed. We'll get that out of there in a second. All right, bring it down, and we baste. Basting just redistributes the seasoning, the flavor, get some of that oil in there. Some people think you just baste a steak. You can baste your other meats as well. We're gonna get that out of there. And we'll let this finish up. All right. Whitefish doesn't take long, y'all. This is one of my favorite quick go-to meals when I don't feel like doing a lot, but I need something. So we're just gonna take that. We're gonna plate this, and it's a very quick meal. All right. Now, using the same skillet, right? And I'm gonna take this off the eye for a second. We're gonna make our eggs. Now look, I have the privilege of getting fresh farm to table eggs. Can't get any fresher than this. As a matter of fact, our illustrious executive producer, engineer, who's been with us from the start, who makes everything look and sound so beautiful, Brian, has brought me these eggs. He has a farm and he has his own chickens, and they made, when were these made? Today, Brian? Like fresh, like look at that. Look at that. This is the type of stuff that makes me excited, because if you're gonna eat the food, make sure it's good quality. Look at that, right? Boom. So we're gonna make some scrambled eggs. Using that same skillet, put that back on the eye. Using that same skillet, same oil. Waste not, want not, don't need a lot. Now, typically, you can take, if you don't wanna put oil in your scrambled eggs, that's totally fine. Just remove the oil. I don't really care. I think it adds flavor. We're just gonna get us a nice little whisk. I don't like to over whisk. And then we're gonna turn the heat down on this bad boy, because I don't want my eggs to burn. And let's pour this bad boy in. Could you make an omelet? Sure, you can do whatever you want. For me, We're just gonna do a nice scramble. And yes, it's gonna have the color of all of the things that we had when we made that fish. Again, to your own discretion. If you don't like that, don't want that, remove the oil, wipe the skillet, have at it. But waste not, want not over here. And again, it's flavor. This way, I don't even have to flavor my eggs. How about that? I might add just a little salt at the end. I'm gonna turn this off. These eggs are pretty much done. See, the thing is, people like to overcook their eggs, right? You don't need to do that. As soon as the skillet and as soon as the skillet is hot enough and the eggs start to set, turn the heat off and just let the heat from the skillet finish cooking the eggs. That's how you make the perfect eggs, right? And then at this point, because I do want a little salt again, I'm not gonna use all of that, just take a pinch, throw a little back. Shout out to Rachel Ray. And that's all you need. Quite literally, that's it. Look at that. Don't that look good? Nice and bright. I like soft eggs, just like I don't really like a hard scramble. I like a soft egg. If you like a hard scramble, by all means, scramble this harder. Okay, I don't want to hear nothing in the comments. Oh man, it's runny. Everybody likes what they like. Okay. This could have been sunny side up. This could have been medium over easy. I like it all. But today I felt like scrambling with this big old spatula. All right. Boom. The plating is not the most fanciest thing in the world, but guess what? It's gonna be fire. That much I know. Let's use our hands a little bit. Waste not, want not. Haste makes waste. All those good sayings. Okay. So again, we use one thing, and that was our Spice of Life, right? Anti-inflammatory salt-free seasoning blend with 10 spices and herbs. That's all we use for this. And then we put a little bit of salt because I do like a little salt. You can find Spice of Life. You can also find our Serenity on our website, brownwomanwellness.com. Link will be in the description. I'm hungry. I'm tired of talking. So what we're going to do, this is for me and Brian, because you know Andrea doesn't eat anything but leaves.
Leave me alone.
Let's try this out. That's good. The herbs with that lemon. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. With them eggs. You playing yourself if you don't get this. Fix up. Peace. Oh, like and subscribe. Y'all's water is mama. Yes.